Hey everyone, welcome to the HireMyVA Team and Business Building Podcast, where we help you to reclaim your freedom through hiring and thriving with virtual assistants without breaking the bank, without breaking your bank. I'm Dave Braun, and I'm here with my partner, my friend, my co-host, fellow dude in my men's group, Larry Broughton.
Oh, Dave, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great tonight.
We're both going cash today.
I know we are.
Super casual.
I mean, if you look at our colors, what do you have? You have HireMyVA blue. I have HireMyVA yellow.
Yeah. It's as if we had planned this out.
Yeah.
we didn't, friends. We did not.
We didn't.
Yeah, I just got back from a great walk with my boy, Bodie.
Ah.
Bodie is my Rhodesian Ridgeback, for those who don't know. It's not my son. Yeah, we had a great walk. So
was it a walk or a run?
It was a walk. Well, he ran. I got him. He was off leash quite a bit. He loves to run, which is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to be going for a walk soon. I'm going with Cheryl. We're going to look at all the Christmas lights.
Oh, yeah. That's great. Good.
Yeah. Good. All right. Well, let's get going, folks. We want to get you to the content. So this is going to be part 2 of what we talked about last week, which was basically the question is, I've heard a lot about getting a mentor or a coach, but how do I go about doing this? And what are some of the considerations, qualities in the person, and why should I even get one? Right. So last episode, we went through an introduction of that. And then we talked about keys 1 through 11 because we got 20 total. And it was just getting we were long, and we wanted to break it up for a more easy listening for you guys. So we ended up number 11, which was offers direct and respectful feedback. But let's read off what the first 10 are, because then we're going to go through 12 through 20. So let's see.
So read the first, you said 10, but we need to read through the first 11.
First 11. Okay, let's go. Key number 1, a caring, sharing spirit and willingness to teach. I can't talk today, Larry.
But you didn't need vocal exercises beforehand.
No. All right. Key number 2, enough wisdom and experience for your needs.
That's right.
Number 3, possess a positive outlook. Number 4, they need to be honest with you. Number 5, enthusiastic about what they do. Number 6, objectivity. They need to be objective. Number 7, compassion, having compassion for you. Number 8, key 8 is a great listener. They've got to be a great listener. Key number 9, they must be dedicated to lifelong learning. Number 10, they care about your whole health and not just the bottom line. And then number 11, where we left off, was offers direct and respectful feedback. So today, like we said, we're going to start at key number 12. Let's get to it. Key number 12 is respected not just by their clients, but by their peers and colleagues.
It is so important. Mentors ought to be, and they don't always, but they ought to be learning from each other. They ought to be as committed to learning as you are. And it really is a pretty small industry, pretty small tribe. And many of us know each other. And so if you know other mentors out there that you're not working with, you may want to ask, hey, what do you know about this person? Now, you got to put it through a filter, because there are some mentors who are a little bit jealous or self-conscious about their own success. Great mentors will give you positive feedback about other mentors, even if they've got a bigger tribe than they do. If they're great mentors, hey, they are awesome in this area. But if you keep asking someone about all these other mentors and they've got nothing good to say about other mentors, you got to remember earlier we said that they've got to be optimistic and honest as well. So if a mentor isn't respected, though, in the industry, then there might be something wrong. And usually what I've heard, Dave, is there are questions about, I hate to say it, integrity. That they take a lot of money, but they don't give you the value for it. Or I don't know, there are sadly some integrity issues in this industry.
Yeah.
So you gotta be careful of that.
Yeah. And one other thing that you really should consider related to key number 12 is that they themselves have a mentor or coach.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you want to ask, well, where did they learn their stuff from? I mean, who are they? How are they improving their craft? Because your relationship may not be a very long-term one, but it's probably going to be more than a few months, and they should be progressing in what they're doing as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Hey, key number 13, Dave, is being open-minded.
Yes.
You want
Yeah.
to
I
take that
mean, we've
one?
got to, if open-minded, I mean, what does that really mean? That means that they've got to be looking at different points of view. They've got to be open
Yeah,
to hearing, what somebody's saying over here and over here, different places, right?
yeah, yeah,
And they want to be able to look at alternative ways of doing something, right? It's not just here's the path. This is the way we've done it for 50 years, and we're going to do it that way. It's kind of like, I remember, telling my dad, you're not doing this right when you're driving. Son, I've been driving for as longer than you were born.
yeah, right, right.
He wasn't very open-minded.
Yeah, yeah. And just because it worked with one client doesn't going to mean it's working with all clients. Just because they did it a certain way 10 years ago doesn't mean that it's relevant today. Right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. The culture, our culture and the landscape of the culture and business, everything does change over time. What works like online 10 years ago doesn't work today. I mean, a great example would be SEO practices. There was a lot of black hat stuff years ago. You can't do any of that now. Right. So if you had a coach who was an SEO expert 10 years ago and hasn't kept up,
right.
I mean, they're not going to be any good to you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, key number 14, inspires others.
I think that is so important. I think that, one of the phrases that I think we talk about this in the Flashpoints book that you helped me wrap up, Dave, was that great mentors do more to inspire awakenings than they do about teaching. Right. And I think the very best mentors see potential in others and in themselves, and they communicate it in a way that inspires others to move forward and take action in spite of the challenges and obstacles that are in front of them.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, they should be able to be inspiring you as well, because you are going to go through at times when, there's going to be a honeymoon in your relationship, and you're excited and everything when you start, but then guess what happens? The real work comes in. It's work. It's tough, and you're going to get bruised and bloodied. They need to be able to inspire you to keep on going and remind you of why you're doing this.
For sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. And in that light, the best mentors, key number 15, is that they really have to be self-reflective.
Yeah. Well. I mean, they should be thinking about all the different, aspects of their life, what they're doing right, what they've done right, what they're doing wrong, how they can improve, because that's going to make just a great coach for you, because then you can learn some from the lessons that they've learned over time. And lessons that they learn are going to be not just successes, but probably some of the most powerful ones are going to be from their failures.
Yeah. The way I put it is that the best mentors have had crash and burn moments in their own life, and they talk freely and openly about them, but not just what got them there. Why did they crash and burn? But what were the lessons they learned from it? That takes some courage to be self-reflective, right? And then to share it openly. When you find mentors are willing to do that, that can really be transformational, I think.
Yeah. And you can find that out by just asking them when you have your initial meeting. Ask them that. Hey, what were your biggest failures, and what did you learn from it? What are your biggest successes, and what you learned from it?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
All right. Key number 16, moving on. They show discretion.
This is so darn important, Dave. And sadly, it's, I think, rare in a lot of the mentoring relationships that I've seen out there. I hear, like I said, you and I are in this mentoring space, and we know a lot of other mentors, but I hear stories. These mentors say, hey, I've got this client, and they tell their name of what's actually happened. Well, one of the things I love about our mastermind and mentoring programs, we have everybody sign a confidentiality agreement, right? Because I want to make sure that what we talk about is kept in strictest confidence. Is what we say in our weekly meetings, right? That you and I do. Yeah, it is. For a couple of reasons. I want people to be open, because this may be the only place, Dave, the mentor-mentee relationship, where somebody can be really honest. Oftentimes they can't go and speak to their spouse or loved ones about the challenges that they're having. They oftentimes certainly can't go to their employees, team members, and executive committee at times. And so they have to be able to come and be really, really honest. It's almost like a therapist relationship a little bit.
Mhm.
But additionally, the reason I want confidentiality is that some mentors get a bunch of their clients together, whether in a mastermind or whether in social events or whatever, and things come out, and you don't want other clients doing end runs
Oh
or
yeah.
right on
Yeah.
ideas, right? So the whole thing about strict confidence and showing discretion is really important. And the other thing is sometimes very difficult topics come up, and you don't want that mentor holding those things over your head, right?
Yes.
And judging you for it.
Yeah.
I think the best mentors take the information in, they don't judge, but they help you navigate the challenge or the obstacle. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Totally agree with you there.
Okay. And so the next one is really being disciplined. Key number 17 is that a really successful mentor is disciplined.
I like this one because that's one of my
I
strengths.
know. You inspire me in this area, to
Yeah.
be honest. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, and one of the things that we do, is, I mean, you can tell if somebody's disciplined, they take the relationship and their job seriously, is they
For
show up
sure.
on time. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
simple way. They show up
Uh-huh.
on time and they're prepared. I mean, they're not distracted. If you have a coach that comes in and they start the meeting, even if they're on time and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe what happened in my house. Let me tell you
Mhm.
about it. Well,
Right.
wait a second. They're not being very disciplined because that's your time. It's not
Mhm.
theirs.
Right.
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 So
Right.
they've got to take the relationship seriously. And part of that is being on time and focusing on you and not themselves. Now there's a time when maybe at the beginning you have a little banter back and forth. That's fine, depending
Mhm.
upon your relationship. But
Yeah.
the 99% is on you. Focus on
Yeah. And I think you've got to be mentors, just like mentees are humans, and there will be times when a meeting's got to be changed or whatever.
sure.
But I think what we're talking about, and you go back to the discipline, is what's the rule and not the exception. If they are
Yes.
constantly not prepared, not showing up, that's a completely different story, I think. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. If
Yeah.
they start off and they say, hey, say I was coaching you, Larry, and I say,
Yeah.
hey Larry, where were we last time? Do you remember?
Oh, oops. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not good. No good
And
juju.
no bueno, no juice. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
All right. So we're getting down the home stretch here,
That's right.
folks.
Right.
So key number 18, that they are available for true emergencies.
Well, I think the key here is true emergencies. Again, mentors are humans as well, and they have their family lives and they have their quiet time. But there are times when you, as a mentee, are going to need extra help. Whether it's you're about to go into a presentation with a potential client, and it's a big presentation, and you need a little bit of help there. Whether it is your business is about to go off the cliff, and you call your mentor, the
Yeah.
mentor should not be saying, well, listen, we've already used up all of our time this month, and can we put
Yeah.
that off for 3 weeks?
Yeah. I'm looking at my watch. Yeah, our next scheduled call is in 3 weeks. So will that
Yeah,
emergency wait till then?
yeah, exactly. But it's really a two-way street,
Yeah.
right? The mentee should not be abusing, like most mentors I know have a package of emergency calls, however
Mm-hmm.
they get it to you. Just because you have them available, because these are like emergencies. If you're calling, hey, I'm just checking in, kind of thing, how you doing? That's not an
Yeah.
emergency call, because you got to
Yeah.
remember, you're probably not the only mentee that the mentor has, right? And
Yeah.
and so it's like the boy who cried wolf. If you're always using those emergency calls for non-emergencies, and then that call comes through, they're going to say, well, it's probably not that important. I'm going to finish dinner here with my friends, and they go home. They don't call you back. It's probably as much about you as it is about them. So
Yeah.
I keep
Yeah.
coming back to discipline. Be disciplined about using these emergency calls.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And your coach will understand there might be times when you do have an emergency and you ask them, hey, can we move up my scheduled call that's in 2 weeks? Can we do it, tonight or tomorrow or whatever?
Right. Right.
Hopefully they can work through and accommodate that for you.
Yeah. Yep. Right. All right. So key number 19, we're almost there, folks. A great mentor doesn't tell you what to do most of the time.
Yeah. Now the key here is most of the time, right?
Right.
So
That's right.
one of the things that they taught us in the John Maxwell coaching program is people will, when you're coaching somebody, they will self-discover a lot of what they need to do.
Okay.
Right. So if you as a mentee or a coachee can discover that on your own, then you will own that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not always about doing everything perfect, but it's about doing very close to what needs to get done, but it's about doing, right?
Yeah.
If they tell you everything to do and you don't do it, what's the use of that? So you've got to own it. And one of the best ways to own it is that it comes from you. They will help draw that out of you and lead you to have that discovery. Now, there's still going to be times when they're going to say, you're heading down the wrong path. Here's what I really, really think.
Yeah.
Right. They will tell you, hey, this is the right way to go. But hopefully they will qualify that and basically say, is it okay that I tell you that? Is it okay that, can you give me your permission to do that? That's a great way to do it.
Right. And the key, I think, to all of this is that they have to ask probing questions more than making statements.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And that goes back to some of the things that we talked about before is, culture and business changes.
Sure.
And so by them asking questions, they'll realize maybe there's some subtleties in what you're doing that may change their answer. Right.
Yep.
So they definitely have to be asking a lot of questions.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Larry, you want to give me a drum roll?
Dun, 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 dun.
Number 20. We made it through. All right. So this is one I think that's real important too, is key number 20 is they don't want you as a mentee forever.
This separates the rock star mentors from the junior varsity. I think that's kind of a mixed metaphor, but you get it. It separates the major league mentors. Oh, that's good. Major league mentors from the junior varsity.
Yeah.
Sounds right. And that is top mentors, the most effective mentors, want to help you reach your potential as soon as possible. Right. And I've seen this often, and that some mentors they don't want to give you the bad news. They're not going to speak reality into your life because they want to be your friend. And they think that if I can be your friend more than a mentor, then you're more likely to sign up for my next program. I can have you for a mentee longer than not. So I do believe that you need to have a mentor who speaks truth and love to you. Okay. I think the best mentors are like firm and loving parents. Sometimes they're firm and loving. Okay. Yes. They speak into your life what you need to hear, and they ask the tough questions sometimes. Right now, great mentors. I've had mentor-mentee relationships that have gone on for years, but the relationship has changed over time. Sometimes, like maybe in the beginning, it might be more like triage, stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
In my life and business. The next phase might be physical therapy, right? We're just getting you stronger. And then the third phase might be peak performance, right? If you think about it from a medical or from a sports analogy, right? So triage, physical therapy, peak performance might be a way to look at it. But again, most mentors they're not expecting to go into the relationship and we're going to be together for 15 years. That's generally not how this works. And it goes back to what we talked about way early on in these keys, Dave, is that don't be afraid to cut a mentor loose if you've outgrown them, right?
Yes.
Mentors should be big boys and girls. You're not getting married, right?
Yeah.
And they're in your life for a season. Okay.
Yeah. Now, so one of the things, let's go back to key number 2 on this. Remember, key number two was enough wisdom and experience for your needs, right?
Yes.
Where we talk about they don't have to be the biggest rock star in the industry. If you're a first grader, they just need to be a fourth grader, that kind of a thing, right?
Right.
So if I go back to that in my particular case, so like I've had my web coach for what's a package deal. There's a coaching session a month, and then we have a mastermind every month as well, where we talk about issues and stuff. Yeah. And so we've been doing that for several years. Yeah. But the thing that I've noticed also is, and this is one of the most things powerful about my coach, Nathan Ingram, and it's powerful about, in my opinion, us, as well as it's something to look for, is that they're in the industry or they're growing a business, or they're doing something to keep up, right, with things. So he still has his web development business, and his is growing and morphing and changing as well.
Yeah.
So he's still ahead of me,
Yep.
still experimenting, still guiding me. He's connected with so many people, trying new things, and that's still super valuable to me.
Well,
So
he's
I've
doing this some of the,
grown. He's more.
yeah.
He's gone more to college, and maybe I'm more high school, or
Yeah,
I
right.
don't know, something
Well,
like that.
that's the key, right? He's doing many of the things that we list in this packet,
Yeah.
and these 20 things. He's committed to lifelong learning, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the key here, right? If they can stay ahead of you, then I think that you'll have a longer term relationship with somebody. But truth be told,
Yeah.
there are some amazing mentors out there. I've had some rock star mentors out there. But many of the folks that are in this mentor coaching space, they stagnated, and they're
Mm-hmm.
teaching today what they were teaching 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a problem. My only point here is don't be afraid to talk to your coach about it, or your mentor, and say, hey, here's really what we've been focusing on this, but I really think what I need is that. And so
Right.
let's give them time to maybe, oh, I didn't really realize that. It's a conversation. These difficult conversations take a little bit of courage, but it's like any relationship. You got to have
Mm-hmm.
courage, right? And then if you've had that conversation and the relationship still isn't improving, or you're still not getting what you need from them, then set them free and find
Yeah.
another mentor.
Yeah. I agree.
Right?
I totally
Yeah.
agree. So we've come to the end, right? And
Mm-hmm.
maybe we can wrap up, Larry, really quick. We didn't talk about this ahead of time, but what if you think about the 20, or you can review them, you got them there in front of you. I do too. What of all of those things do you think stands out to you? What do you think is the most important? Or, I mean, they're all important, right? But what
Yeah.
is it that stands out in your mind that says this is going to be a great coach for me? And I can tell you mine while you're
Yeah. Why
thinking.
don't you go first? Yeah.
Yeah, I think somebody who's willing to speak the truth, to be
Yeah.
objective, to to not be afraid to lose you
Mm-hmm.
as a client. That will
Mm-hmm.
say, here's what I think you're doing, or going down the wrong path, or whatever. And they say it, of course, lovingly, but they're not afraid to tell you what you need to have to grow in whatever area that you're doing. I mean, if you have a fitness coach and they're telling you that, you just don't have the body to do this or whatever, then that's huge in my mind. Huge in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. The honesty and transparency is so important.
Yeah.
Here's one that just jumped out at me, and that is, and maybe I'm just personalizing it too much, is key number 10. Cares about your whole health, not just the bottom line.
Yeah, that's good too.
Right. I mean, I can think about, right off the top of my head, almost a dozen people popped in my mind, Dave, who've gone through our mentoring programs, who have said, not only have you saved my business, you've saved my life, or you've saved my marriage,
Yeah.
or my health has improved, right? I think it's vitally important, because boy, if you have a business that is just rocking, is doing great things, but if your relationships, if you're grinding everybody up in your life,
Mm-hmm.
and you're heading for a cliff, and you are addicted to whatever it is, the business doesn't matter,
Yeah.
right? That's why I love our whole health spider graph that we use so much.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a fantastic tool. And
Yeah,
if you're honest with it, it will help you be self-reflective, which is one of the
absolutely.
other keys that we talked about
Yeah,
today, right?
yeah, yeah. And then, you're right. There's so many of them, but another one that just I think is so important is that we offer direct and respectful feedback.
Yeah.
Speaking the truth in love is so important.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you and I have heard this over and over again. Folks who have had mentors prior to us, and they say, no one's ever spoken to me this way.
Well, yeah. And
Well, that might be why you're stuck.
Yeah. And then, of course, sometimes though, if you are coaching people and you speak, obviously you're respectful, but if you tell them things that they don't want to hear, but that they need to hear, yeah, sometimes your clients are going to leave you.
Yeah, and I've had that. I had a
Yeah.
conversation where I can count on one hand. I can count on one
Yeah.
finger the number of times where I lost it on a client,
Mm,
where I was just so frustrated because it was the same thing on every call. And I finally
yeah.
just said, "Blank. We've talked about this so many times. You don't want my feedback," because he asked these questions. Say, so I'm going to hang up, and he just kept probing. I said, so I finally, I'm hanging up. And before I said that, I said, we're done, is
Oh.
what I said. And I hung up. And we didn't talk for about 3 months. And he called and said, I really needed that. No one has ever done that to me
Mm,
before. And that's the problem with people who own their own businesses, is that they haven't reported to anybody in a
I
long time. And
know.
people don't tell them what they need to hear sometimes. And one of the challenges with this
Mm.
particular person is that he surrounded himself with yes people. And that's all people will tell him is yes, 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 sir, 3 bags full, sir, kind of thing. And
Yeah.
and we reconciled, and he became a client again, and his business just took off. But he needed to be shook up a little bit. But I can say there's only one time that's happened. Now I am firm and loving with all of our coaching clients, but I think it is so important that people recognize you have to be open-minded and take feedback, like we've said during this thing. So anyway, those are 20 great points, I think, Dave,
Yeah.
and folks that are watching and listening. Are we going to give this document away?
Yes, at some point we should.
We probably should. All right, good. All right, well, stay tuned, folks, for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. All right. Anything else, sir?
No, I think this has been good. I hope people got a lot out of it. This is part number 2, and if you didn't get the chance, didn't get the chance to see part number 1, go back and look at part number 1 for this topic.
Well, the document is part of our program.
It
for
is.
sure.
Yeah, but
Yeah. So
you and I just got through talking earlier. There's some changes we need to do to it. But anyway, it's called Key Qualities of an Effective Mentor or Coach for Entrepreneurs, Leaders, or High Achievers.
Yeah. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to take that A document to A+, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Larry.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, folks, for joining us today. It's been fun over the last couple of times to talk about the key qualities that you need to look at before you hire a mentor and a coach. And remember, though, building a team is the way to reclaim your freedom. You can have a mentor or coach that will help you, but they should lead you. If you really want to get freedom, you want to grow in your business, they should lead you to figure out, how am I going to replicate myself? How am I going to bring people into my organization to serve our clients better? They should be directing you to that in some way. But so that's what we do to our clients. And of course, we're here to help you if you want to go that route too with us. But right now, for 3 things I'd love for you to do right now, go and subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already done so. And then the second thing is give us a rating, 5-star, of course. That's what we want. And then the third thing is go to HireMyVA.com for more information on our course and community. Because remember, even without any experience, you can learn how to prepare for, hire, and thrive with a virtual assistant, one or more virtual assistants. And like Larry and I talked about, we've been coaching and mentoring folks for a long time, and we'd love to help you out. We're helping people out right now. Love to do the same thing for you guys. So just go again to HireMyVA.com for more information.
Right. That was awesome. All right, folks. Hey, do yourself a favor, do your world a favor, do your community a favor. Go do something significant today. All right, team, go get them.
All right. Take care, guys. Bye.
See ya.